I'm just going to do this video really quickly while I've just jumped out of a shower, very fluey and nasally. Which I can't stand, but I get allergies as well. And doing this while my hair's just drying naturally. Because when you start seeing it dry naturally, you'll see that it's actually naturally wavy. It has been my entire life. I've always brushed it out straight. And I'm making these comments because what's just gone on and unraveled in the last 9 years since I was lied about in 2015, and social media lies and people stalking through social media and stalking my life and then making stories up that I had a breakdown when they're stalking me and harassing me. So basically, let me just start off with my complexion. There is, well, every bit reason why my complexion should be naturally dark, if not dark. When I go out in the sun, I go dark easily. That's because of Stanley Fleming's complexion. So I carry some DNA from my grandfather, Stanley Fleming. He also had thick, black, untamable, frizzy hair to the day he died. Now that's just the way it is. You know, DNA for your mother's side, DNA for your father's side. As for myself, yes, I was a blonde baby. I was a very blonde baby. And then when I lost my baby hair, it came through brown and then dark brown and black. Well, near black. So it's always been dark brown, near black. Now, in the last 9 years, there is so many lies that have gone on. And then to cover up, so I'm getting harassed by people, groups and organisations, religious groups and organisations. It's criminal. Police have been told continuously since 2015. Police, New South Wales Police have been told continuously that there is sick, twisted women that are hiding behind groups and organisations and have harassed my life. Now, I'll try to keep it short and say, half the stories I've heard I don't believe. No, sorry, more than half. I don't believe. So I was even asked if I was molested. This is how sick we're getting in the world. So let me pin that, because no, I haven't ever, and let me say that there is this like world of the last, I don't know, since 2016. You know what was going on in the world. There has been so much bigotry. It's opened its eyes up to bigotry. Close this because there's wankers. Where I live is full of deadbeat wankers. It's unfortunate that I live here. So, basically, you've got people saying that because someone's an older gay man, you know, and if they hang around or have anything to do with anyone younger, they're a predator. So I'm sorry, but I've known more female predators in my life. I've never ever known a male predator, ever. You know, but I can tell you now, how many cougars, how many women that are older flirt with younger men that are half their age, or even, you know, less. You know, how many 40-year-old women are always out flirting with teenage guys, or, you know, 60-year-old women? They do it all the time because it's okay, it's acceptable, but that's still, and they're the same types of people. Like, it's women that always go, oh, grooming. It's like, stop this ridiculous behavior. It isn't grooming. You're very sick people the way your minds work. And I can give a massive big spew right now on the bullshit I have heard since 2015. So someone started making up stories that, oh, he's been molested and stuff. It's like, no, I haven't. I'm gay. I've always been openly gay. So these bigots of people, which they're sick. People are sick that actually their mind goes the way that their mind goes. They're sick. Deb Mears from Marius Street, Tamworth, is one of those sickos. So I played a big prank on her in 2017 at the Hub. And I thought it was fantastic because none of it was real. It wasn't true. It was acting. They're sick people. My mother, Carol, very sick person with what she has said throughout her life. You know, when I was even in America, she contacted me about an old friend of hers, boyfriend, and asked if I was ever molested by him. I'm like, you're sick. I never see him as a character or a person that does that. But let me tell you what I know about bigot people. So people who are not from the city, anyone who's not from an open-minded area, when you go to suburban areas or when you go to country town areas, and people have been born and raised in those community areas, they have issues with themselves. So they've actually, even if they're gay, they're homophobic. So to make themselves feel better, they will say anything. It doesn't take much for one of them to come up and go, oh, I'm gay, but I was molested by this person. It's like, No, you won't. No, you won't. You're making a story up about that person because that's easy for you, because your family is so bigotry and you're so homophobic as a gay guy. There's so much of this, and that's because of the environment. It's like Tamworth's like that, New England's like that, Armidale's like that. There is so much bigotry. It's disgusting. There's all this, and I'll tell you, the biggest predators I've ever met in my life is women. I've seen women abuse men, molest men, grab them on the crotch and penis, out in public, go into male bathrooms. This is a sin, but because it's women, it's not seen as anything sinister. But it's like, I'm sorry, they're going to the urinal. Like, we're out in public, men are pissing out a urinal and they're going in looking at their cocks. If a male went into a female's with a bathroom and looked at the vagina under the cubicle, I'm sorry, they would be arrested and in jail for that. Why isn't that female arrested? Because I have been at a urinal at an event and I've had women come in and stand at the urinals. It's like, what are you doing? Oh, this is okay, it's acceptable. It's like, no, this is predatory behavior. Women get away with predatory behavior all the time, and then they label men as it because they're projecting. They've always gotten away with predatory behavior because they're women. So we are very closed-minded. This whole thing, like, any female is like, oh, I'm a mama bear, I'm going to protect my children. It's like, you're a predator. You're a predator. You're projecting. You've got issues, deep-seated root issues. Because I've seen women like you before. You'll be going out having a couple of glasses of wine and, you're in your 40s, but you're flirting with that, in Australia, waiters, from 18 onwards, but you're flirting with that young waiter. He's really uncomfortable about your over-the-top behaviour of touching him and grabbing him and touching his butt and rubbing his abs, and which is what I've seen women do. But if a male did that to a female, so if a 40-year-old man was there and doing it to a female waitress, touching her breasts and whatever, he'll be arrested straight away. But you're a female, you don't get arrested for that. I've seen you women get up and deliberately go to the male bathrooms as if it's a joke and go in and look at men's penises. Oh, I saw his penis. I've seen this. You've done it. And you're the same women that's like, oh, that person's a predator. It's like, no, I'm sorry, you're the predator. Every bit of your behavior is a predator. Just because that person's a openly gay man, or a person that is, for example, maybe involved in a theatre and hangs around with younger people, doesn't make him a predator. You're projecting. And I've watched this and seen this my entire life. It's always, my mother, I was involved in a theatre and active, and every time I came home, like, the only thing that stopped me ever doing anything good in it was my mother used to bash me and say, I would come home from rehearsals and my mother would bash me and bash me and bash me and tell me to admit that I'm being molested. She did that. So if you have a mother like mine, like, I could have buckled and said yes when I never was, because just so the abuse would stop. My mother did that. So here I'm doing good at the theatre, and I would come home and she wanted, and I would say the only person that I've ever known in my entire life, two people to have ever abused children, is you, Carol Purdy, and your second husband, Mark Rackley, who bashes kids. Not sexually abuses them, but the abuse, the bashings. And you're bashing me, trying to get me to admit that something has not happened to me. That's why I don't believe what a man has said. And this is true. Now, I will stand in front of a magistrate and say that these organisations should be up on charges. I don't believe, I would want the courts to start thinking a bit more logical and go, oh, hang on, not that many people could have had things happen to them. Haven't we got an influx of bigotry? Aren't these people just, are they uneducated? Where are they from? What's their background? What's their religion? Isn't this just bigotry? And I'll be like, yeah. And let me tell you the last thing. I don't want to delve right into things because I would love to actually make these statements and go further in front of a magistrate. So I don't want to actually give too many statements where I want to actually say it in front of a magistrate and say, well, this is what Carol has said over the years. Now, the Blue Magazine, the Australian art photography Blue Magazine that the football player Ian Roberts was in for the first edition, I think it was. My mother made up that. Now, it's a beautiful coffee table book. My mother So we'd be like, oh, that's extreme porn, or some, oh, look at that, because it was painted photography. Oh, those boys can't be, they can't be 21. This is underage porn, and that's what she used to call the Blue magazine. There you go. So I'm like, when I talk about my family being open and liberal, I'm not talking about my mother. Like I said, my mother's grandmother tried to open my mother's eyes up because she was a bigot. Okay. My grandmother, very open. My great grandmother, very open and understanding. My mother, her sisters, bigots. Bigots. Now, I would love for this to go where I can say my statement in front of a magistrate and say, well, this is a lie. I mean, besides me playing a prank on Deb Mears at the Hub in 2017 because she's a loser that should be getting upper criminal charges. And yeah, I did the same to Stephanie DeSalis because we're trying to catch Stephanie DeSalis out since she started stalking again since she started. I don't think she ever stopped. But put that aside, these lies and stories have been made up by these women without me playing a prank back on some idiots from 2016 to 2018 to try and deliberately catch them out. They're very sick women. I hope they heal and get the help that they need.